Here's the next episode of what it's like to go to war. And on this episode, I want to talk about power, because war kind of is the ultimate demonstration of power. It's one human being taking the power to take the life of another human being. At its essence, war is about power. Now, I'm not talking about the TNT power of explosives. I'm not talking about the power that it takes to send a bullet downrange. I'm talking about the power in human nature to be able to force one government's will on another government at gunpoint. And power is dangerous. Let's be honest, dynamite or nitroglycerin, that stuff is highly volatile and it can do incredible harm. It is also very powerful, and applied in the right places at the right time, it can do incredible good. There's incredible things that can happen if you use it right, but if you use it wrong, man, it's dangerous. And the power to take another human life, it can become intoxicating. In fact, I think some government leaders like what war brings because of the power that they have to be able to force their will on somebody else. I want to remind you of something that Alfred Lord Tennyson said a long time ago. He said that knowledge is power. And then perhaps one of the greatest martial arts experts of all times, the famous Bruce Lee, took that quote and he turned it on its head. Bruce Lee said this: knowledge leads to power, but character leads to respect. In other words, the ability to have that kind of power and restrain that power and only use that power in the right amount, in the right circumstances, and never ever use it for anything else. That's what real character looks like. And when you see character like that, all of us, every human being on the planet, have no choice but to respect a guy or a gal that can discipline themselves to use that kind of power appropriately. Be careful for all of you warriors out there that are watching this video and perhaps never been to combat before. The power to use lethal force to take another human being's life, it can become intoxicating. And if you're not careful, you can get addicted to that kind of power. But using that kind of power very discreetly, highly disciplined use of that kind of power can create incredible good in lands where dictators brutally oppress their people, in places where terrorists do the great evil to innocent people. That kind of power is very necessary in certain circumstances. But even when that kind of power is necessary, you have to use the right amount in the right place for the right reasons. So my challenge to you in this video is to be willing to accept that kind of power. It only happens a few times in a warrior's life that they will actually have a responsibility to take another human being's life. Be willing to take that responsibility on behalf of your government, but be very careful. That kind of power can become addictive. So why don't you follow Bruce Lee's advice? Knowledge or war is powerful, but character, that leads to respect. And character comes from using the right amount of power in the right place for the right reasons. So keep that in mind when you think about the power of taking another human life. Just a few thoughts for you about what it's like to go to war. And on this episode, the power of taking another life. See you next time.